Example 2. Use parallelograms to prove relationships. So we are going to draw a proof here. Um, the diagram shows the side view of a tackle box. Tackle box is what you keep all your fishing stuff in. So like lures and hooks and little pliers to grab the hooks out of the fish mouth and weights and bobbers and strings. It's what you use to keep it all organized. Um, and this is a pretty old school thing, but I mean I still have a tackle box from when I was like 12 years old that's built like this. Uh, in this diagram, it tells us PQ, PQ, and RS are congruent, and PR and QS are congruent because it tells us the measures are the same. Explain why the upper and middle trays remain parallel no matter what height the trays are raised or lowered. So basically what we've got here is we've got ourselves a quadrilateral PQSR, and if it's a parallelogram, then we know that these two sides are parallel, which represent the second and the third and or the upper and middle shelf is how they refer to them, upper and middle. So that's what we're trying to do. Is it's made with parallelograms. So if we can show that this quadrilateral here is a parallelogram, then the top two trays will always be parallel. So, um, so statements. And ooh, reasons. What are we given? PQ equals RS and PR equals QS. That's given. Well, with those two things, we know that those two things are congruent to each other. And that's the definition of congruence. If the measures are the same on segments, then the two segments are congruent as well. And PQ and RS are opposite sides. That's basically given from the diagram. And same thing with PR and QS are opposite sides. Here's one trick if you're using the same justification again, you can just put down a little double quote there and it says, yeah, I'm just using that same exact reasoning again. Um, and we have shown that opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent. Um, that's what we've shown so far, right? That means that PQRS is a parallelogram. And that would be 6.9. 6.9. Now, this doesn't really feel to flow very well. Um, One thing that you could do to tighten this up a little bit, I have it written down in the reasons, but it's almost kind of a justification, right? I'm saying that those two things are opposite sides of a quadrilateral are congruent. That's what property 6.9 says. So that must mean that's my justification for it being a parallelogram. I don't know how I didn't pick up my G there, but I didn't. And there's the end of my proof.